So this is what my Instagram feed looks like this week. I decided on gouache because my feed was looking, with all the pencil and charcoal, it was very black and white. So I wanted to inject a little bit of colour in there. And I think gouache suited this week because it's easy to pick up and put down because it's water mixable and there's not too much cleaning. So it was a nice medium between some of the other harder things like oil and acrylic paint. This was the first image I tried, all these references I picked off Pinterest. I ran out of time, so I picked something quick and simple to start with. I did this, I think, on Monday night, and I was also, even though I wanted to inject a little bit of colour into my feed, I was using black and white with this one just to ease in a little bit. It was more of a warm up into painting this week, so it wasn't too bad for a start. On Tuesday, this one, I hit a bump in the road. It was really hard. The paper was warping, and I was in the mindset of trying to use all my little scraps of dried up paint from centuries ago, and all that did was just handicap myself by doing this. And I felt that I had taken quite a few steps back, and not all the way though, because at least I produced something for the day, and this was it. The next day, I actually started with something way too ambitious for my skill level, and it put me at a massive disadvantage because there were too many elements. The colours and lighting was way over my head. So what I ended up with was something that I was never going to be able to complete. So instead, I did this, and it was a lot simpler. There was less colours, and the subject was less complex. I also changed to using one of my scrapbooks, which is thicker paper, which I think seemed to work out a little bit better. By day 4, I worked out some of the issues that I was having and was starting to enjoy it a little bit more, even though I was struggling with skin tones. So I guess that's why I decided to do mainly portraits for the rest of this week. But I mean, this was pretty rough, but overall, I'm happy with the progress from the last one that I did. I felt that I was making steps forward finally again. This next one I did on the same day. I was in a really good mood, so I did a couple that day. And I was still working on skin tones. All round, I was starting to have a little more fun with it. It does seem like the better mood I'm in, the better work I do. So that's something to consider. Sometimes it's just hard to motivate yourself to get into the proper mindset to start painting and be happy with the results, considering there is such a long ugly phase. In the middle, I've got no idea what's going on. Day 5, and I was still in a really good mood. I was exercising again, so that always helps with my headspace, giving me more patience to get through the work that I give myself. And I think it was starting to pay off. I was happy with the result of this. And it's still really rough, but we're getting somewhere, and that's the main thing. Just making, even if they're just small steps forward, I'm happy with that progress. Now, day 6, I felt that I was taking a few steps forward and a few steps back. I was still struggling, and I don't know, maybe we're supposed to struggle at the beginning when we put things down, and you've got no idea how it's going to turn out because it doesn't look how you think you want it to go. But I don't know, somehow near the end it starts to pull itself together and you think, I don't know what I was so worried over. But I mean, obviously there's still room for improvement. Now this one, day 6, was super ugly for such a long time painting this, and I honestly thought that I was going to scrap it. And I just kept going with it. I figured, what else am I going to do today? So if I overwork it, if I end up scrubbing the paper off completely, then so be it. But like with the last one, it seemed to pull itself together at the end. This last one, I think, came together well. I put everything that I'd learned throughout the week into it, and the main thing being patience and knowing that if I put my mind to it, I can actually do something. I can pull it off to some degree. To what skill is another thing, but I'll take those small wins. I've got no idea what I'm going to do for next week. I might not actually give myself a challenge. I might just keep doing what I've been doing for a little bit longer because I feel like there's still a lot to be learned from that. Anyway, thanks for checking in this week. Who knows what's going to be on here next week?